following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Hey, welcome to a very special edition of the Filthy FRB Show for Thursday, June 18th. Tonight, I welcome an internationally acclaimed adult film star, and her name is Kendra Lust. What's up, Kendra?
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. Thanks for joining us. You know, I read a little bit about you, and you kind of have a little bit different background than I guess people, the stereotype, right? You were a nurse for, about a decade before getting into the adult industry?
I graduated from college in 2004, and I worked as a nurse for about 8 years, and then I came over to the other side. So I'm loving it. I love being a nurse, though, and I kind of do miss giving back, you know, and like that compassionate side of me, but I don't know. I take care of people in other ways now, so it's almost as it's fulfilling, but not in the same way.
Now, I saw in another interview, because I was doing some prep work. I always like to be prepared. I saw that if you weren't an adult actress, you would be a pediatric oncologist. You know, the people that listen to this show wouldn't know what that is. So why don't you let them know?
Well, basically, it's a doctor that specializes in children's cancer. So it would be a really difficult job. However, I think it would be very rewarding, and just it's kind of close to my heart. So for me, I don't know, just something that I'm passionate about, and something I would really like to do. So it's never too late.
That's right. You know, I've been to quite a few, because for the job that actually pays my bills, I have to go to quite a few hospitals, and then, you know, facilities that are specifically for cancer. And it's kind of, you know, you walk in there and you're just thinking about business, and then you get on the elevator, and right next to you is some kid who looks incredibly ill, and you're just like, wow. You know, that kind of hits you right in the face.
No, it does, and it really puts life into perspective. I did a period of hospice nursing, so I did that for a couple years, and that was a little bit, I guess, easier. I don't know, maybe it's because, you know, most of the patients were older and at least had lived a good portion of their lives. You know, with kids, they don't have an opportunity. I mean, they're innocent, they're young, and it's just sad. So I don't know. That's what I would devote my life to, though, for sure.
Yeah, so you grew up like in the Detroit area or outside Detroit?
Yes, I'm still here.
And you're still here?
I am.
Still there. I say that because I've been there quite a few times in the past year or so. So how do you go from a nurse to being an adult film star? I mean, to me, it just sounds incredibly drastic. Like you couldn't get any different, right?
Right. No, it is. I mean, it's like a weird transition, or I don't know, like how does one transition from that? I think like I shouldn't stereotype, but I know a lot of like, you know, nurses are kinky, cops, teachers, like they're the biggest like sex fanatics like I've ever met. So I don't know. There's always like been that side of me. You know, I was very interested in sex at a very young age, and just I've always felt very sexual, like in nature, you know. It's just kind of like an aura. My friends would, you know, they always like come to me for sex advice, and it's just kind of part of who I am. But anyway, to sum it up, I loved what I was doing, but financially, I take care of a lot of my extended family, and so I wanted to be able to provide more and to help, you know, my family out more. And if I would have gone back to school, it wouldn't have the timing. I wouldn't have been able to do it in time. So I started webcamming because I always wanted to kind of, you know, see what it was like to kind of be, I don't know, have fun behind a camera. And I liked it. And a few months after doing that, someone had suggested that, you know, maybe I should do porn. And I thought, wow, it's something I watch porn. I love porn, but I don't know if I can do it. And I just kind of took the plunge and did it the old fashioned way. I didn't have an agent. I just like got photos and sent them to companies and kind of booked my own scenes, you know, my first few scenes myself. So it's kind of cool. It was, I don't know, scary, but I thought, why not, you know? So here I am.
So when you got into it, did you know that you were going to be this big star, like this, 500,000 Twitter followers, and like, you're maybe not like what Jenna Jameson was maybe in the mid '90s, that type of mainstream, but you're pretty close. I mean, you're getting there. Did you think that you would be that successful, or because you see the other side of the industry? There, I saw that movie on Netflix, Hot Girls Want It. I don't know if you saw it.
I heard about it,
and it kind of shows the other side of it. Like, you did incredibly well for yourself, and then there's this other side of it where they get into it, and then like 3 months later, the phone stops ringing.
Yeah, no, and I don't know what it is or what makes me different. I don't know. Maybe it's the level of maturity. I don't know, because I don't know who was cast in the movies or whatever. But I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I think I'm pretty good at what I do, but I'm always learning. And I don't know. I never really thought. My whole goal was just to make money and never be recognized. I thought I'll just shoot a few scenes a month, and then I can help my family with that, and just kind of, go back to like being a nurse. But 6 months later, someone from my hometown had discovered it, and, it kind of spreads like wildfire. So I thought, okay, so now that I was outed, I'm either I have to go big or or I go home. And I decided like, I have to make this a career, and I'm going to be really damn good at it. Somehow I'm going to, build my brand, and that's kind of what I've been working on.
So would that disqualify you from going back to nursing? I mean, I don't think it would be. It's like First Amendment rights, wouldn't it?
No, it will. Because I have a few friends that are nurse practitioners, and it wouldn't fly. And I've read so many articles, and they won't come out and tell you why you would be that you'd be terminated for that, but they would come up with some reason. A lot of companies are at will employees or employers. So, it would never fly. So, I don't really, have the opportunity to go back to being a nurse, and that's unfortunate, and then the whole pediatric oncologist. I mean, it's just society, how they view you. Unfortunately, we're stereotyped. We're less competent. Our ethics are distorted, and we are just viewed in a negative way by I should say society, so unfortunately I know in my heart it's not an option, but
sure. So it's one of those things where like they wouldn't specifically say that's why they wouldn't hire you, but that's the reason.
Absolutely. There's actually another girl in the industry. She's in nursing school. I had asked her. I saw her at Exotica in Chicago, and I said, "Hey, how's it going? I was thinking about you, and just, how's schooling going? Do you have any questions or anything?" And she's like, the real awkward thing, she said, is that they all like know, and I'm like, a lot of people know, but she's not quite. She's basically working for free. She's in her clinical, so they're not gonna get rid of her or they're going to keep her there because she's an intelligent, capable body, and nurses, they're always like short staffed. So, but I guarantee they won't hire her on. And she kind of already knows that as well. So it's almost like you have to disguise who you are. I mean, that would be the only way. I'd have to dye my hair, wear it in a bun, and wear my glasses, so yeah.
I'm sure somebody would still figure it out.
I don't know. It's hard for me to hide the booty, even in scrubs. So I don't know.
Yeah, I was just about to say, you said you didn't really know why you were popular, and I was like, well, I have a few ideas why, right? That's one of them, and it kind of feeds into another question. I mean, not only are you in shape. I mean, there's in shape, and then there's you look like an athlete or not a figure competitor, but something like that. It's not like you're like muscles bulging out of you, like you see, but pretty close to it. You're in great shape.
Thank you. I've always been just kind of who I am. I've been playing sports since I can remember. I remember my dad, teaching me. He was a basketball coach of mine. I mean, second grade after school. I mean, I don't remember what homework I had, but after I got done with whatever I had to do, I had to dribble outside, in and out of chairs. I mean, for hours. I mean, so a lot of the fundamental, like old school stuff, like regarding sports and basketball, my dad, he made me do. So he was pretty tough, but yeah, he was a great dad.
So you can hit free throws, fundamentals.
Oh my! I kind of choke under some pressure sometimes. But I don't know. Like, I don't want to be the girl that gets fouled at the end of the game, I don't know. I could do it, but I don't like the pressure. I'm more of like, hey, wait, I'm more of the penetrator. I like to like penetrate the ball because I was point guard. So you penetrate the ball, you little give and go, and, whatever. Defense is my thing. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your dad. I mean, obviously your family knows about your career, and like, what is their general consensus? I'm sure there's, some of them might feel different than the others, but is there a general consensus?
All my family, all of them are really accepting because it hasn't changed anything about who I am. When I'm home, I'm just normal. Like nothing has changed. I'm still in the same house I've been in for 10 years. Like I really not much has changed. I'm just able to help out, like, pay for my niece's braces and bought my mom a condo, just taking care of my family. And that for me is like means more to me than any piece of property or any car, just who I am. Like if my family is happy and healthy, then I'm happy. I'm content. Like I don't need a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's nice, but like I don't live for stuff. Like I want to make memories. I want to travel and just like live life,
Yeah, I've done some reading on that. They say that people that value experiences more so than material possessions tend to be happier.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm just so chill. Like I love my hometown. I love where I'm from. This is like where my heart is, and unfortunately, I did get a small place, like I leased a little apartment out there for the next year only because I know that I'm going to be out there so much and I get homesick. So I kind of wanted to put my own touch of like home out there, just someplace I can just like relax and feel cozy, like the same place. So I did do that and I was kind of bummed. I'm like, oh my God, another, an extra expense. But, in the long run, I'll feel more comfortable when I go out there. But my permanent residence it'll always be Michigan, and it is what it is.
Sure. Maybe that's why you haven't changed that much because, you didn't move to LA.
Yeah. And the people out there are actually very nice. It's just, I like to talk a lot and I feel like, I don't know, like I'm too, like they kind of look at me weird. Like even when I first started, they're like, why is she so nice? And I think it's just, I like to make people feel good and I like good energy and I like to empower women and, we have to like compliment and like bring each other up instead of like tearing each other down. I don't like it. So I don't do it. That's not how I roll.
So how would you say what you're doing is empowering women? Like what type of example are you showing?
Well, first of all, I think just all of us women who are ballsy enough, I shouldn't even say ballsy enough because, because, hey, we are the ones that spit out the babies, right? Like not balls of steel, like vaginas of steel. We are all the girls in porn. I mean, for us to get the courage to get in front of the world and, expose the most vulnerable parts of our bodies and just like express our sexuality without fear of judgment and criticism. I mean, that's pretty powerful. I don't know many women that would be able to do that. I think society always is trying to conform and, you have to do this and you have to do that. Well, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is, you live and you die. But I mean, you have to do what makes you happy. Because if you spend your life like worrying about everybody else, trying to please everybody else, you only make yourself unhappy. So I just feel very sexually liberated. And I like what I'm doing, and I feel really fucking powerful.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't disagree with you. I mean, where was I going with this? I was gonna say.
About like empowering, or what? How do you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't say that like I was saying that you weren't empowering, but I just was interested in the way that you felt you were, and yeah, you because I often think like it's you kind of know like people that are not performers, they're doing a bunch of shit in their lives that's probably riskier than what you're doing in a controlled atmosphere on a set.
Absolutely. And, I don't like to, even though people will say, oh, you're this, you're that, social media or just in general, they will negatively comment or try to insult. And, they're entitled to their opinions, and that's fine. When their opinions pay my bills, then I'll be concerned. And that's how I feel about that. But you're right. A lot of people, I think, you can pick up in the bar, and chances are, like, if you ask them if they've had an STD test in the last 6 months, I mean, I'd like to know the percentage of people that have, and I can probably guarantee that it's pretty low. So, granted, we are tested more frequently, and we get paid to do stuff that we really like to do, opposed to doing it for like movie and a date. That's pretty fucking cheap. But a lot of girls are doing it, and that's cool. Like, if that's what makes you happy, but don't cast judgment on me, when you're doing it for a lot less, baby. So.
I agree with you. Now, I read that you have a couple big business developments that just came. You have some kind of a exclusive contract with Archangel.
I do.
And what is that? What does that mean?
Well, with them, I have chosen to give the 8 IR scenes that I'm doing for the year to that company. And I think that's kind of cool because I'm all about longevity. As you probably know, a lot of the girls, I mean, we all have shelf lives. And
what does IR? What does IR mean?
It's interracial.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm going to do it with them. I love them. They're a great company, and they give me a lot of freedom, in the scenes and just kind of how I want the scene to go. And I just thought it would be a good business decision as well, because there are a lot of other companies that I haven't shot for, and hopefully they'll still be interested when that contract is up. So it just kind of extends my longevity.
So are those the only 8 scenes that you're doing for 2015, or are you doing other scenes, but just exclusive in this one genre?
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'll be doing other scenes, with other companies, but all of my interracial will be with them from June of this year until June of next year. So how does this work? You get to select who you work with, or what's the set like? Yeah. I mean, basically, I like to get a lot of fan, input when I'm shooting, with the company. I'd like to know who they'd like to see me with, and just kind of get some feedback. So that's one of the ways that I decide who I'm gonna work with. And then, I have the right to, we all have the right to say yes or no to whoever we want to work with. And it's like that with not just the interracial, just with, regular, whatever type of scene you're shooting. A lot of girls have a no list or whatever. So I guess that's kind of one of the reasons I went with that route, just a little bit freedom of choice and, creativity. So
you waited a little bit to get into the interracial scenes. Now, is that a business angle? Like, hey, I'll do all the other scenes first, and then let the demand, increase, and then capitalize for the most money. Is that is that how that works?
That's not how all girls do it. Some girls, I think there's a couple different kind of girls in this business. Maybe I shouldn't say a couple kind of girls, but this is what I've noticed. There are girls, and a lot of it has to do with personal experience, who your agent is, what your goals are. I mean, some girls come out of the gate doing everything for fame. Or they come out of the gate doing everything because they want to maximize They want to get as much money as they can, and maybe they're going to say, peace out, I'm done. You know, so I don't know whatever the girls' reasons are, but everybody has a different reason for doing what they do. And I don't knock anybody if that's what makes them happy. But for me, I had heard from a lot of girls, like, don't give up everything at once. You kind of want to dangle the carrot and like keep people waiting and wanting for something different. And ultimately that allowed me to maximize my money, I guess. So it kind of worked out both ways for me. So I did it that way.
Because I know some girls that follow that strategy can sometimes get people to criticize them, saying, to interject some type of prejudice, if you will.
Oh, absolutely. And I honestly don't care if you're black, you're white, you're green, you're whatever. My whole thing is it's business. So if I can maximize monetarily by shooting a scene later, whether it be a gag ball in my mouth or a black guy, it's not a personal thing or a race thing. It's a business move. Show me the money. Show me the money.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Because like you said, maybe you were going in a different direction, but you said there's a few different types in this business, and it seems to me that you are an actual star. Your name is a brand name, and you're trying to leverage that as best as possible. Then there's some other girls who want to have sex on film. That's different from a porn star.
Right, and yeah, and like I said, everybody has a different reason, and not to say that my reason is, my way is right or whatever, but I have to do what I feel works for me in my life. And, I live out of state, so my circumstances are a little different. So, ultimately, I have a plan, and will I make mistakes? Have I make mistakes? A shit ton. But, that's just life. You're constantly learning, and, you just try to do the best that you can,
Now, is there anything that you haven't done on film that's on your list?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot. I haven't. Yeah.
What are the things, if you can disclose them?
I haven't done any anal. I did anal with toys, but that really doesn't count. Right. So anal, I haven't done a DP. I haven't done a gangbang. I don't know what else left there is. I haven't done an interracial anal or interracial gangbang. So there's other things or interracial DP. So like there's other things, to do down the road if I decide to venture in them. It's all about my asshole and how much it'll open up for me.
How much it'll hold up, yeah. After, so how much longer? Because it seems like you're planning this out really well. You're spacing it out. You're not just hot shotting it. How much longer do you see yourself doing this?
I would like to shoot for another 4 years. For me, that would be ideal. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it for 5. But I don't want to leave the industry entirely. I want to, like, right now, sorry, my house is kind of crazy. I have my nieces over. Anyway, I have a new puppy and all this crazy stuff. But yeah, I have the opportunity to direct with a couple companies. So I am going to be doing that in the next 6 months or so. And then I have a toy line. So I have like other things that I'm kind of getting involved in. I am part owner now of my agency. They just haven't done the press release. So I invested in the company. So, which is a good thing. So I like to kind of keep my options open. But
is that the PR company that set this up for us?
That's Star Factory PR, but no, my agency is Silvaria Girls.
Oh, okay.
Or Silvaria. So I am part owner of the agency. So I'm really excited about that. We just kind of haven't announced it just yet. So, but we will be doing that in the next week or so. But the reason I want to do this is because, I don't like to see girls being taken advantage of and just put through the ringer. And if I can help other girls, not saying I know everything, but just from my experience, if I can help them to build their brand and and make it a career if that's what they want to do, or just whatever it is, whatever their goals are, we want to be supportive and just kind of lead them down the right way, then I want to be a part of that.
Now, I would think, in 5 years, I guess you'll be near 40 or around there. I mean, I would think that you'd just be hitting your prime. Isn't there a whole new market once you hit that plateau?
Well, unfortunately, they've kind of put. I guess I would be maybe more of a cougar, but they label me MILF cougar or whatever. I don't really give a shit.
As long as the check's clear.
I'm like, I don't care what you call me, and not so much about that, because I always say, hey, I'm not just some old bitch. Like, I am not. Like, I feel very confident about who I am, and I don't consider myself like, I don't know, I don't see myself as that, but I get it. There's different categories in porn, and I'm just gonna own it, and whatever, I'm fine with that. A lot of girls, there's so many beautiful women that are 40 and 45 that are rocking it out, so we'll just kind of see. Like, I have a 4 or 5 year plan, and we'll go from there.
So, I touched upon it a little bit earlier, about your diet, your workout, because of the type of shape that you are in. You're not just somebody who doesn't eat that much and doesn't drink that much. Obviously, there's a lot that's going into it. Probably a lot of meal prep and probably a trainer. Tell us a little bit about how you went about putting together this physique.
Well, honestly, I've always had pretty good genetics, and I've worked out from a very young age. I remember, I think I was a freshman in high school, and that's when I started like lifting and really kind of getting into working out. But I really need to step it up a bit. But it was like when I first started, I was a little too lean, and my face, you could see it in my face. And then I kind of cut back on some of my cardio and just try to develop a little bit of muscle and a little bit more curves. So for me, it's just like a balance. I try not to do a ton of cardio and try to eat healthy for the most part. But I have my slip ups. I may fluctuate a few pounds, 5 pounds, but it's usually not much more than that.
It's gotta be tough to eat healthy on the road, because I know you're doing a tour for feature dancing. So what are some of the dates that you have coming up, in the next, say, couple months?
Yeah, I'll actually be feature dancing here in Detroit, which is really cool. It's called BT's, and that is downtown Detroit, and that is, oh gosh, off the top, I don't have my planner right here, but I think it's the 16th and 17th. It's that middle weekend in July, Friday and Saturday. And then I have in July, the end of July, last weekend in July will be Jacksonville, North Carolina. And forgive me for not having the club name. I should know that. Damn it. Because I don't have my planner. And then August, I have a few dates, the 5th, 6th, and 7th, but it's out of the country. It's in Chile. It's Platinum, Chile. So that'll be kind of cool. San Francisco, the end of August. So at Century Club. So yeah, I've got a few. I try not to do a ton of the feature dancing. Just like, every 6 weeks or once every couple months is actually really good for me. Because just with the other things that I have going on right now, I need to be more present, I guess, in LA. So, but I love it. I love actually meeting people that I've never met, and even the fans that I've met before. Just seeing their ongoing support is really, really, it's so humbling. It's just so nice to know that you have fans that like come out to see you. Like, how cool is that? So I'm grateful, very grateful.
And most of them are pretty nice. They kind of act normal. They don't like blow your spot up a little bit, or.
No, they're just so cool, and I always get a kick out of it, because I think it's, when they say, I can't believe I'm sitting, and I'm thinking, oh my God, like I'm just like, I don't, to me, I don't get it, because I don't act like I've not changed. Like, I know I'm just me, you know what I mean? So like, it's just, I'm just like, oh my God, I just put my goodies on film, like it's not, so for me, I still kind of laugh. I don't get the fuss. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that might be because you're female, whereas like you don't have this guy's mentality. Like we've known the top porn star since we were probably 15 years old.
Right.
You know, and so we kind of put them up there, you know, next to the mainstream actresses. Right.
Yeah. No. You know? Just, I don't know. I think I just want people like to know, like, you know, I want them to like, because I'll see guys out, and I remember when we were at Exotica, we went like, I don't know, a few miles, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes away from the convention center. We're like, okay, so we'll kind of have some peace and quiet. And then there was these group of guys, and I could see they were kind of looking back, you know, and I'm like, okay, are they just being flirtatious, or like, do they know who we are? So anyways, they're like, oh, I hate to bother you, Kendra, but could we get a picture? And I'm like, of course. And I was like, are you guys from the convention? They're like, no, you know, I don't think they're old enough to get in the convention. But like, I don't ever want to be the girl that they can't approach, or I want them to like approach me. Like, not saying I look for the attention, because I really don't. I'm like pretty normal chick outside of, you know, like you can't like pinpoint me, I don't think, in a room. Like, she's a porn chick, she's this or she's that, you know, like I look like normal, but I want my fans to be able to approach me, like, you know, and be, you know, obviously courteous, but yeah, I want them to be able to do that. Like, don't be like intimidated or scared. Like, we're no different, you know, we just put it on film.
So do any of these fans, like, do they have a shot with you if they have a really good game, they have really good lines, and has that ever happened, or is it you have like a no fan policy?
Oh, I don't have a no fan policy. No. Like, I was a porn fan, so like that's not fair. That's, you know, hypocritical. So no, if they do, yeah, for sure. I'm down.
So there's a chance, you know, like.
Yeah. More so for like a fuck buddy or a toy, you know, like a boy toy or, you know, whatever, friends with benefits, because, you know, at this point, like, it's a relationship is just out of the question. I mean, it's just too difficult to, like, I have someone that I'm exclusive with. However, it's hard to, it's pretty open. So it's just hard. I can't explain it.
So, like, maybe if you're out of the state that this guy lives in, it's
right.
all bets are off. Is that
other relationships? Like, it's just not practical. There's just no way it could happen right now, because a lot of the guys will be like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally cool with what you do," and they fall in love with who Kendra is, who I really am, or I don't know. I just feel like it's just the idea of being with, and then they start falling in love. And then they want you to stop. And it's just so hard, I think, for so many of the girls to really find a good connection with somebody. And, you know, so it's tough.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's better just to keep it friends with benefits and have a few different ones and around the country. So when you roll into that town, you know you got something solid. Is that kind of how it works?
I guess, but I don't know. Or... yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say every city, but like, you know,
a couple.
Yeah. Because, you know, we do travel a lot.
Yeah.
But no, so yeah, it's kind of nice to do that. I like it.
So just to wrap this up, because I know you got a tight schedule there, but I've seen on Twitter you've put up like pictures of you at WWE events. Are you a fan, or did you just bring a family member, or?
Well, actually, I've been a fan since I was in elementary school, and I just loved old school wrestling. I mean, I was a tomboy, and I loved watching it. My dad used to watch it with me, and, you know, it was just really cool. So I've always kind of followed it, but I have to admit I got into it more recently over the past, I don't know, 5 years, like, you know, because I kind of lost touch for a little while, like when I was in school and whatever. But there is a friend of mine at the gym that I go to, and he has Down syndrome, and he is a huge wrestling fan. He's around 30, but his mentality is kind of like maybe a 15 or a 16-year-old young man. So we kind of talk wrestling, and I have to admit, one of the reasons that I wanted to reach out and kind of connect with the community is so I could get him tickets. So whenever I can, that's my goal, is to get him tickets and take him down. He has no clue who I am. He just knows me as, you know, just me. So he knows no idea about Kendra or anything like that. But it's just kind of cool. His family's wonderful, and I love to like make his night. You know, he's such a good kid. You know, so yeah. So that's that was more my motivation more so than for myself. So yeah.
I got you. So who are some of the wrestlers that you enjoy watching the most?
Well, years ago, of course, I loved Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and just God rest Dusty Rhodes. But, just like all those old school wrestlers, Ultimate Warrior. But now, of course, I like watching Cena. I like Roman Reigns. I mean, there's just Dolph Ziggler. I mean, those are kind of like my top ones right now. I don't know. There's so many. Sheamus is all right. I'm just not crazy about all that red hair. But yeah, so, I try to catch it when I can. But, yeah, it's always a good time.
Now, last question. I mean, I think you would be perfect to be a WWE Diva.
Ooh, that would be so fun.
I mean, I know I know the guy who's their director of scouting.
So awesome. Don't even tease me with that.
I'm just saying, if you wanted to give it a try,
I swear to God, I so would. I mean, that would be so fun. I might like to take on the Bella twins. I really like them, though. They're actually really cute.
You do? They seem to rub a lot of people the wrong way.
They're cool. It's just, I get it. It's an image, and it's, it's a persona, and whatever. It's cool, but yeah. But it would be fun. Oh, God, don't tease me. Don't tease me. I think I'm going to stick to this right now, though. I don't think I could handle being on the road that many. I mean, they literally, and I don't want to say that I could just do it because I don't want to take any credit away from, all the training and preparation that they had to do to kind of, to become a diva, So I'll let the experts let them stick to that, but it would be really cool.
Let them do that, and then you'll stick to what you're an expert at.
Yeah.
So people can get in touch with you on Twitter. It's what is the handle again?
Yep, it's just Kendra Lust. And
do you have a website?
I do have one right now, but I'll actually have two different places where fans can see me. One is more just content, and that's www.kendralust.com. And then I am opening up a fan site where fans can actually download specific scenes. They can get signed 8x10s. We can do Skype shows, lingerie, like you name it. It's really fan oriented. So it's going to be really cool. I'm very excited about it. So, so that's coming within the next 60 days.
Oh, cool. And what scenes are out right now that people can check out?
Right now, I'm really excited about the showcase, showcase, I guess, movie or whatever, that Archangel did, and it's called True Lust, and it's TRUELUST, and that is directed by Tori Black, and that's by Archangel. So it's like a variety of me in different, sexual scenarios. So it's pretty hot.
Does it have a storyline to it? Because I always thought these movies that have storylines, what's the point of having a storyline?
Right. Those are like more considered like parodies,
Right.
Or like they're kind of like the XXX version of a movie, like Magic Mike. We did that, like Wicked did it, and I played a part in that too. So it was kind of cool. But yeah, I guess it caters to different fans, but sometimes companies will do, a movie around a girl, and it just kind of showcases her in, different sexual scenes, and yeah, it's kind of cool. Not everybody can get a showcase, and I was fortunate. I was grateful. So it was cool, and it was hot, and there was a lot of chemistry with a lot of the people that I worked with. All the people. And, yeah, I liked it.
All right, that's Kendra Lust, at Kendra Lust on Twitter, and then I'm sure if you just Google her, you'll see everything that you need to say. So, Kendra, thanks for the time tonight. It was really cool to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you for having me.
All right.